Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my review for G.F.W. Impact Wrestling for August 3rd, 2017. And yeah, I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to structure my review the same way as I did my last video, except a little differently. I actually will review it after each commercial and stuff. And I'm making progress with these videos. Um, as for matches that are happening, the only match I know about is we're going to have a GFW Impact Grand Championship match where Moose is going to defend his championship against Ethan Carter III. Um, that's really the only match that I know about. But I'm looking forward to that match. You know, it's a feud that they've been pushing for about a few weeks, and I can't wait to see what Moose and EC3 have to do when they get in the ring together. I really wish they weren't going to get in the ring though and have that stupid wars that they have for the Impact Grand Championship, but whatever. But I don't know anything else that's on the show, so I'm just going to read the guide like I did last time. It says the biggest stars in professional wrestling battle for supremacy and compete for championship gold, including Alberto El Patron, Lashley, EC3, Eli Drake, Moose, Matt Morgan, and others. So it's just the same thing as last week, so we're going to have to, I guess, wait and see on that. But yeah, I really have nothing else to say. I'm just going to get right into the review, and let's just get right into it. Okay, so we had the actual show itself. We had DePope D'Angelo, De Niro, Josh Matthews, and Jeremy Borash on commentary for this show. And first, it shows LAX like back in their clubhouse or whatever, and Conan gets a text saying that there's been a new member of LAX, and I think we were supposed to think that it was going to be Alberto El Patron, but that was not to be the case. And he says that tonight, Alberto El Patron and his family are battling three members of LAX in a six-man tag team match. And he said that the new member will come forward, and they're playing it out, seem like it's going to be one of Alberto El Patron's family members. I guess we're going to have to wait to see what happens with that. I could see it being his brother since he's coming to GFW Impact Wrestling anyways. And considering the fact that there was the whole thing where when he was being beat down, Alberto El Patron didn't come save him; he saved his father. Um, and yeah, but I personally didn't care much about this. Obviously, I don't care about anything that LAX does. And then it shows like a little video package talking about the for the build up for the Super X Cup tournament semifinals match between Drago and Desmond Xavier. I thought they did a really good job. It showed like how they won the matches, and it kind of gave us a little bit of information about them. Kind of the same thing about before. They just kind of mixed it together. And then we had the actual match itself. It was a Super X Cup semifinals tournament match. It was Drago versus Desmond Xavier. I thought this was a really good match to open up the show. Um, Drago hits a Hurricanrana. No, actually, no. Desmond Xavier goes a hit, upside down, and Drago catches him with a drop kick right to the ribs. Drago hits a reverse like Hurricanrana off the turnbuckle, and then Desmond Xavier hits a Hurricanrana himself. He hits a suicide dive outside the ring, and then they get back in the ring. Drago and Desmond Xavier both hit kicks at the same time on each other, just knock each other out. They both start trading punches. Desmond Xavier starts to get on fire. He hits a flip dive right on the outside. He covers him. Drago kicks out, and then Drago starts to make a kind of dominates the matchup. He hits a power bomb on Xavier. Xavier kicks out. He hits his a spin in DDT. Xavier kicks out, and then Desmond Xavier hits a Inseguri. He hits a Hurricanrana roll up, and then he hits two splashes in the corner. He hits a springboard clothesline, and Drago hits a sunset flip power bomb, and then eventually the finish. And yeah, he hits the then the finish is that Desmond Xavier hits a X19 and a I forget the name of the move, but it was like a like spinning corkscrew senton onto Drago for the win. Really wish that Drago had won because I just like him better, but I was fine with Desmond and Xavier winning. And then afterwards, he says that he gets interviewed by Jeremy Boras, and he says that if he can win a match and beat Drago, he says that he's going to use that momentum to win the finals at Destination X, which is currently on right now. But I haven't gotten that far into that show yet. Um, and yeah, overall, I thought that was a really good match, and I really enjoyed that. And then backstage, Ethan Carter III gets interviewed, and EC3 says that it talks about how tonight he's not only fighting Moose for the Impact Grand Championship, he's fighting the corrupt judges, one of them being Bruce Pritchard. And he says that tonight, though, he's just going to defeat Moose in the ring. He may beat him in round 1 or 2 since he's because he claims that he's in Moose's head. And he says that he's going to lay him out with the ECD. And then that was the end of the interview segment, and then that was pretty much it. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good start to Impact, and I enjoyed, the Super X Cup semifinals match, and I enjoyed EC3's promo. So overall, good start to Impact so far. Okay, so next it plays a hype video package talking about the feud between Matt Sydal and Lashley. Lashley talks about how he wants to reclaim his World Heavyweight Championship, and Matt Sydal talks about how he was wrestling in G.F.W. since the beginning in 2002, and how he never would have thought that he would be wrestling somebody like Lashley on at a show like Destination X. And then Lashley talks about how he wanted to originally reclaim his title, but Matt Sydal got in his way, and he's just going to push him and knock him out of his way. And Matt Sydal talks about how he never saw himself as an X Division wrestler. He just saw himself as the best wrestler on the planet. And Lashley talks about how he wants to get back his World Heavyweight Championship, and he says that people are going to want to knock you down as you get back to that path. And Matt Sydal talks about how he's busted his ass for years and wanted opportunities. And they talk about how they're going to steal the show on Destination X. And I thought that this video package, I quite frankly really didn't care much for it because I don't care about this feud, but it was pretty decent. And then Alberto El Patron and his family get interviewed, and Alberto El Patron talks about how Conan is a snake in the grass and nobody can trust him, just like in Mexico 25 years ago. But he says that he's having a little bit of trouble trusting his brother El Hijo, I think his name is, because him and Conan have been friends for years. They've talked together in the Impact Zone, and they've worked together before. So he's concerned that his brother has joined LAX, but his brother tells him that Conan's just getting into his head. So they all start arguing. Kalen Jarrett comes up and tells them not to fight because they're family and nothing's more important than family's trust. And then they start arguing again. And then Bruce Pritchard comes up and says the same thing pretty much. That he's seen crazy things in wrestling. And then they walk away. And then Bruce Pritchard tells Karen Jarrett that he wants to talk to her in private because they've been building up that there's been some issues going on with Bruce Pritchard and Karen Jarrett. They really haven't done anything with it, and I don't really care about that. And then we had the next match. It was Trevor Lee versus Mumbai Cat. Whatever. Trevor Lee dominates the first half of it. He throws Mumbai Cat out of the ring. And Mumbai Cat, I guess, has this thing where there's usually two of them. So they do like an old switcheroo where someone takes his place. And Mumbai Cat fires away at him. He hits a tornado DDT and he hits a splash, which is Sanjay Dutt's finishing move, and gets the win. And then Sanjay Dutt takes his mask off, but he's a fucking idiot for doing this because instead of getting back his X Division championship, he takes the mask off before he does so. That was stupid. So then security and Bruce Pritchard come out, and Sanjay Dutt says, "I'm gonna say what I want to say." And he talks about how Trevor Lee is claiming that he's the X Division champion, and he says that the last time he checked, he never beat the champ, and you have to. And he says that to be there's no saying to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. So he offers that on at Destination X, um, that they go at it in the ladder match for the X Division Championship, and then he leaves. He gets taken out again. Why is Sanjay Dutt the one being punished since Triple H stole his property? And two, why didn't Sanjay Dutt just reclaim his X Division Championship right then and there? He had a perfectly good chance to do so. He had a good plan, and then he just ruined it. So that was stupid. So overall, I really didn't care for this portion of the show. All right. So next, it shows like a video package of Lashley of where he trains for the MMA. You had the owner talking. You had Kin Mo, and they talk about like how he's got there and how he's progressed in the MMA. They talk about whether or not he should do MMA and wrestling, and some of them say that he should just focus on one. And the Kin Mo is the one that just fuck it, do both. So I don't know what they're trying to fucking set up there. Um, if this means Lashley's leaving TNA, well, GFW, sorry. Um, and then Joseph Park and Grado are backstage, and Joseph Park talks about how he's looking forward to seeing him wrestle tonight, and he hopes that he has, that they get a paycheck, but they still have to get him married, or else he's going to get deported. So Joseph Park's going to set that up. He's going to go find Laurel Van Ness, and they're going to get married. Grado's nervous about Congo Khan getting involved, and then Joseph Park says, "Don't you worry about that, because my mother used to have an old saying, I don't ever forget it." But he doesn't remember it. It was a lame joke. And then he walks off and says, if it works for me, it can work for you. And Grado's just lost because he didn't even say, because he forgot what the saying was. And then we were supposed to have a match. It was supposed to be Eli Drake with Chris Adonis ringside versus Eddie Edwards. But then Eddie Edwards' music plays. He doesn't come out. And we see Congo Khan just tearing stuff up backstage. And Eddie Edwards is laid out, which means he attacked him. And Laurel Van Ness is trying to calm him down. And it was awful. This section of the show, I think, might have been worse than the first, but last section I saw. Okay, so next, Congo Khan attacks Richard Justice backstage and just beats the crap out of him as Laurel Van Ness watches. And, yeah, it was whatever. He's definitely a good monster, I guess, but, yeah, obviously with where the story's going, I don't care about it. And then we had an Impact Grand Championship match. Impact Grand Champion Moose versus Ethan Carter III. We had the judges, Dutch Mantel, I forget the other guy's name, and Bruce Pritchard, and Tyrus was also out there as well. And, obviously everybody knows I'm not a huge fan of the stipulation of the Impact Grand Championship matches, but I did think that Moose and EC3 made this match work. I thought they, given with what the stipulation that they had, they made the most out of it, and I definitely commend them for that. It's still a stupid stipulation, and if they could just have a one-on-one match without these stipulations, I think they would actually really tear the house down. But Moose dominates the beginning of this matchup. He beats the crap out of EC3. He throws him out on the outside. And then eventually EC3 gets the upper hand. He bounces him off like the table of the judges. He throws him into the... Moose goes to charge at him, and he accidentally goes into the steps. EC3 bounces him first off the steps a ton of times. He beats the crap out of Moose. And, each rounds are 3 minutes, so round one ends, the time runs out. So EC3 wins the first round with 29 to 28 points. And then EC3 continues to destroy Moose. He just beats the crap out of him. He even slaps Moose around, which I thought looked really cool. Moose tries to make a comeback. EC3 hits like a T-bone suplex and covers him. Moose kicks out. And then Moose starts to make his comeback. He hits a splash in the corner and then a delayed drop kick. He hits a another drop kick, not when Moose goes to when EC3 goes to hit a move off the top rope, and then Moose round two ends, and Moose wins round two, and then pretty much the rest of the match is just back and forth action. Moose hits a big boot on the outside while EC3's against the steps, and then EC3 hits a TKO on Moose, covers him. Moose kicks out, and then Moose hits a pop-up powerbomb into a senton. EC3 kicks out. Moose hits a avalanche spine buster off the top on the EC3, covers him. EC3 kicks out. He hits the 1%er, covers him. Moose kicks out, and then Moose hits a sit down choke slam, but the time runs out, so he can't make the cover, so the round is over. And then we find out that the judges have to like make their scores, and we find out that the ruling is Dutch Mantel ruled it 10-10 as a tie for Moose. The other guy did the same thing, and it was up to Bruce Pritchard. And we find out that Bruce Pritchard ruled it in favor of EC3. It was 10-8 EC3, so EC3 wins, and he's the new Impact Grand Champion. And Moose is upset about this. And afterwards, Bruce Pritchard and Tyrus walk off. So something tells me they're building a storyline out of this, where since Bruce Pritchard, they've been really showing him as a heel. So something tells me we're going to find out later on that he actually wanted EC3 to win, so he rooted for him to win. Whatever. I still don't like this stipulation, and yeah. But yeah, I think EC3 can do some decent things with the Impact Grand Championship. And I would like to see EC3 and Moose have a rematch. I really wish that they would do 5-minute rounds instead of 3-minute rounds for these Impact Grand Championship matches, because I think they would work better. But other than that, I thought this was actually a pretty good match given the circumstances of the stipulation of the match. All right, so we had the next segment. It was another vignette for that tag team that's coming. I think you don't know the name of it still. And it looked pretty cool, though. It was the same one as last week. Then we had a 6-man tag team match. It was Suicide, Guido, and Braxton Sutter with Allie Winside versus Bala Bala, Mario something, I don't know his last name, and KM. The 6-man tag team match did not care about it at all. The only person I cared about in this match, and even knew really all that much, was Suicide. And you could say, well, I haven't watched, so I don't know these other guys. This other team that came out was like Iraq sympathizers. That's just stupid. Not Iraq, but Arabian. They just look stupid. KM, what's that? Braxton Sutter, just there's nothing there. I don't see anything in Braxton Sutter. And then obviously you have Suicide, who should be wrestling in the X division instead of doing this. And then you have Grado, who I really don't care about, and he's in a crappy storyline. This match was what it was. All the faces dominated in the beginning. They all hit dives on the outside. I hated Suicide dives though, because the heels just sat there and waited for him to dive. It made no sense. And then they dominate Grado for a long time, and then eventually Braxton Sutter, I think, got the hot tag. He hits a high knee on KM. Yeah, and Grado gets on his like hands and knees, so that way KM falls and he rolls him up for the win. Then afterwards, he calls out Laura Vanessa. She comes out with Joseph Polk. He goes to propose again. Congo Khan comes out and he destroys him. He lays him out with like a slam, and Braxton Sutter just walks off. Allie's trying to get him to come save him, but he won't go save him, so they're teasing a heel turn with him. Maybe that'll give him some personality. I don't know. Then Congo goes to go off the top and just crush him with a splash, but Laura Vanessa stops him. And then Joseph Polk pulls out Grado, and Congo Khan walks off with Allie, and then that was that. It was just stupid, and yeah, just dumb match, dumb segment. And then backstage, LAX gets interviewed, and Conan talks about how there's 2 mistakes that Alberto Patron made, and that's not keeping his word and joining LAX and trusting his family. And he says that tonight they're going to break the trust of his family, and the new member of LAX will be revealed. And that was it. All about Conan. This group sucks. Okay, so next, EC3 comes out and he pretty much brags about how he's now the Impact Grand Champion and how he's the grandest champion in GFW Impact Wrestling. Then he confesses his love for the GFW Impact Grand Championship, and then he takes off through the crowd. I thought this was great by EC3, and it really worked. Then we had the main event. It was a six-man tag team match. It was Santana, Ortiz, and Homicide with Conan and the girl inside. I don't know her name off the top of my head. Versus the El Patron family. This was a solid six-man tag. Alberto El Patron starts off the mat. No, Dos Caras starts off the matchup, and he starts off with Homicide. He kind of out-wrestles him a little bit. He wrestles in a t-shirt because he can't really work. And then Alberto El Patron comes in. He destroys him. El Hijo Dos Caras. He's fat. He's fat and just looks out of shape. It's just awful. I feel bad for the guy. But he can really move in the wind, so I thought that worked. And he hits a ton of high flying moves. Alberto El Patron though gets the heels get the heat on him for a while, and then eventually he gets the tag on El Hijo, and then El Hijo gets the heat on him for a while, and then eventually Alberto El Patron gets the hot tag, and he is about to win with the double stomp out of the corner with the tree of woe position. Santana's in the tree of woe position, but the referee gets taken out, so the referee doesn't catch the pinfall. Then he goes for a cross arm breaker. The referee doesn't catch the tap out. Chaos ensues, and Alberto El Patron gets Santana to the cross arm breaker again. But then low kick pops up. But they did tease though that El Hijo could possibly be the one that's going to turn on him because he acted like he was going to hit him with a chair, but then he hit LAX with the chair. And then Loki pops up. He hits a double stop, and you can see in the back of his suit it says LAX. And Santana covers him for the win. And Loki has officially joined LAX. He stands tall and holds up the Unified World Heavyweight Championship at the end of the show. And this wasn't terrible. I didn't think it was that bad. I think Loki joining LAX was a necessary step because it gives some name value into that group, because really it was just Conan in that group. Nobody else was credible, because this has to go somewhere with Alberto El Patron and Loki. I know, and this whole LAX storyline. It can't lead to a one-on-one world title match between Alberto El Patron and Conan. It just can't. You had to get a name in there, and Loki is that name. He's a multiple-time X Division champion. It is kind of weird, though, that he was just fighting for the X Division title, and he lost in that three-way a few weeks ago, and now all of a sudden he's going to be contending for the Unified World Heavyweight Championship. So I definitely think that's weird, but something I guess they have a whole lot of options. But yeah, I still see at some point GFW doing a match between Alberto El Patron and Conan, just to get that out of the way, because it just seems like they've been teasing that so much. Either that or it's going to lead to something where Alberto El Patron is going to get his hands on Conan. So it's going to go somewhere in that direction. It's still really weird, obviously, because of all the stuff that's going on, all the publicity, the negative publicity that Alberto El Patron has, that he's still portrayed as a babyface. But I always forget that GFW Impact Wrestling always films their shows weeks in advance, and that this was all filmed before all that stuff, all the that airport incident got revealed. So it is what it is. But yeah, this was all right stuff. Nothing fancy. I still don't like this whole feud between Alberto El Patron and LAX. But at least I'm happy that they got a name in there where now we kind of know who Alberto El Patron is going to be facing when it comes down to it for the Unified World Heavyweight Championship. So at least that's something. All right, so now I'm going to give you guys my star ratings and my overall thoughts on the show for the Super X Cup tournament semifinals match. I'll probably give that match 3.5 stars. I thought that was a really good match. For the what else matches were there? For the Impact Grand Championship match, I'll probably give that match 3 stars. I thought that was a good match. I didn't really care much for the finish, and obviously with the circumstances of that stipulation, but I thought EC3 and Moose were able to overcome it and perform a good match. And then we had that 6-man tag team match. That match probably gets 1 star. That was not good, and I just didn't care about it. And obviously we have Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards. There really wasn't much of a match. And then we had the 6-man tag team match. That was a decent match. I'll probably give that match 2.5 stars. And those are my star ratings. I'll put those down in the description box below. And then we have my overall thoughts on this show. Overall, I thought this show sucked. It still was pretty bad. The only things I cared about on this show was the Super X Cup match, the Impact Grand Championship match, and everything that EC3 did on the show. I thought really worked. What else? I think that's it. I really don't care about anything else. I mean, the stuff in the main event they did was decent, but I just still don't care about that storyline. Everything else on this show sucked. I don't even think they had a knockouts match in the show, which is pretty pathetic. They didn't even get that. We had that awful Grado, Joseph Polk, and Congo Khan storyline they're doing. You just had Congo Khan lay out Eddie Edwards for no reason. You have Eddie Edwards just doing nothing. Like, he's literally doing nothing, and it was just a focal point. He was just in a vocal feud. You have the whole thing where they're going to do Lashley and Eddie Edwards in a feud. Why? And yeah, just they had a lot of stupid stuff on this show. So overall, if I had to rate this show, I'll probably rate it a 4. Actually, I'll probably rate it a 3, probably a 3.5 out of 10. It really wasn't that good of a show. It was not that good, a good show at all. And it is a shame because it. Also, another thing I didn't care for, and I completely forgot to give my star rating for this match because it was forgettable. The Maya Cat Trevor Lee match. That match gets it probably gets 2 stars. It was just there. And I still don't care about that whole storyline they're doing with the X Division title. I've talked enough about that. So yeah, overall, this show gets like a 3.5 out of 10, 3.5. Just not that good of a, just not a good show at all. Nothing really much enjoyable on this show. And yeah, let's hope that G.F.W can improve in the next episode. Alright, so that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you like, comment, and share this video so that way people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content. And make sure you click on that bell so that way every time I upload a video on this channel, you guys will get the notification for it. And make sure you guys do the same for my CM Brothers and Owen the Talkinator YouTube channels. Make sure you subscribe to those channels and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video on those channels, you guys will get the notification for it. That's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.